everybody, and welcome back to Sunday Open Studio. Today we're going to make some abstract art. I like to think of abstract art as art that doesn't look like something. So it doesn't look like a horse or a dragon or a house or a unicorn. Instead, it's made up of shapes and colors and lines and texture. For today's activity, you'll need to have some paper, some drawing implements like crayons, markers, and pencils, some scrap paper or cardboard and scissors, and we'll use some viewfinders, which we'll make to help us get started on making abstract art. Okay, see you in just a minute. So one of the ways I like to make abstract art is to use a viewfinder, which is basically a hole cut out of a piece of paper or cardboard, and lay it over top of a picture in a magazine, or over top of an old photograph or old drawing, or take it outside and lay it over top of things and make my art that way. So to make a viewfinder, I can just take a small piece of paper, fold it in half, and right in the middle, I cut a small square or rectangular hole. And when I unfold it, I have just the right size viewfinder to use. If anybody has old slides at home, those make perfect viewfinders for making abstract art this way. So the way I like to make abstract art using a viewfinder is I like to find a page in a magazine and take my viewfinder and start to slide it over the page to see what interesting shapes and lines I can find. So this right here might make a very interesting piece of abstract art because we've got lines going this way, lines going that way. We have some interesting textures in the background. If I move it to a different part of the page, I come up with something else very interesting with this little square in the corner here and a bigger square and lines there. Depending on the shape of your viewfinder, you might get a totally different set of ideas for where your abstract art could be. Look at this one. That one's really exciting. Here's one where the picture's a little bit bigger. And I can get some very simple shapes and lines happening in my viewfinder from something like this. You just have to move it around, see which shapes appeal to you, which lines. Look at these lines down here. Wouldn't they make some interesting art? When you find an arrangement that you like, for instance, something like this, then you can get your paper. And I'm going to use this book that I made way back at the beginning of our stay at home. Open it up to a new page. And I'm going to take a look. And this rectangle is pretty much the same shape as the rectangle on my page here. So I can start to draw what I see, and about halfway up I have this line swooping up to there, and I have something like this happening here. A line there. This one is all about swooping lines. You're just drawing what you see. And then you can take this and add color to it. Now, if I had a different picture, let's go back to this magazine. And a different shaped viewfinder. Something like this, perhaps. Or this one, maybe. I would have to first make a square shape on my page, because this viewfinder is square shaped, and it would maybe stretch my picture out too far to try and put it in the rectangle there. So if I draw a square, just a freehand square is fine. And then I start to draw the lines that I see. And I can choose which ones I want to use. I like this one going up here. This one starts about here, and goes to there. And there's another one right next to it. And this, not quite into the corner. There's a circle here. Circle there. That'll work. I really like this line coming up this way. There's another one here. And there's this one that goes straight up and down, but what if I put it this way instead? I could do that. I can make those decisions, because once I've started copying this picture, I can decide that I want things to go a little bit differently in the direction to tie all the elements of the picture together. And I think that does what I want. And there are no other circles in here, but maybe I want to balance these circles out with some other circles. And I'll put one there, put one down here, and maybe a couple there. Great. Oh, no, not quite. So there's another piece of abstract art. Of course, it's not colored. I'm going to go off and color these. And the other thing I will do, I'm also going to take my viewfinders outside and snap a couple of pictures of how I use them outside to find shapes. So this is an activity that can be done inside. It can be done outside. If you go camping, take along a little sketchbook and a viewfinder and go around your campground. Find what you can if you're on a picnic or if you're just hanging out in your backyard. It's really a fun thing to do outside as well. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll post the supplies for next week's activity at the very end of the video. Thanks for joining me. See you again next Sunday.